Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Bonham, for what purpose?
I'd like to use this as my 1 hour's notice that I'll be moving to suspend all necessary rules in the Constitution to immediately consider Senate Bill 4 on third reading after completing second reading on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Bonham.
79.031. So I think it's an awesome amendment that Mr. Rodriguez has done, and I just want to thank him for the work that he's done. And
Chair recognizes Representative Bonin.
Mr. Speaker, members, I have 3 minutes. I don't intend to take them all. The motion is made to be as respectful to the members of this body by not asking members to withdraw and retreat with amendments, but allowing them, as we've noticed the pattern that has existed for hours now, of the vote being 91 or 92 to 55. That has been the vote on almost every record vote for hours. We don't want to ask members to pull back amendments, so this motion is a respectful way of allowing each and every amendment sitting on that desk to be given the same record vote that has been happening for the last several hours. And I'd ask your support.
Ms. Dukes, for what purpose?
Would the gentleman yield?
Yield for questions.
Gentleman yields.
Thank you. Chairman Bonin.
Yes, ma'am.
For the past, I don't know, half hour or so, was having some conversations with you about
Taking amendments out of order.
About taking 2 amendments out of order.
Correct, and I don't have the ability to take amendments out of order.
And why, well, before you get to that, if you don't have the ability to take amendments out of order, then why on the appropriations bill did Chairman Smithy make a motion to sweep all the amendments into Article 11, but take out of order the Schaefer Amendment?
I don't know specifically, but my guess and my vague recollection is that there was an agreement made among the membership to do that.
Well, I know quite a few members here, and I was there that night, and I was not party to that agreement, so it wasn't
And I was not
amongst
either.
all of the membership. But I had been discussing those 2 amendments with you as well. Chairman Oliveira was discussing it with you, and
Correct.
it's been discussed amongst many members as well. And so I'm just trying to get an understanding as to why you have not the authority now to make such a motion when it was done on the appropriations bill, because there were amendments that did go on this bill that clearly a portion of this body was objectionable to. But I don't think that there are a majority in this body who would be favorable to continuing to allow a loophole where women could be sexually abused by police officers or anyone else because of their fear of coming forward, and where babies who could be in a safe haven through baby Moses, if those 2 amendments were brought forward in the same type of motion as Representative Smithy did, I don't think there would be that great of an opposition to it. But you can never find out who Oz is behind the curtain to get an answer.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair recognizes Representative Coleman to speak against.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is an unprecedented motion to suspend.
Mr. Speaker,
Ms. Dukes, for what purpose?
would the gentleman yield, or has Representative Coleman yielded the
Mr.
floor?
Coleman, would you like to answer a question?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Coleman.
Oh, and I respect Chairman Bonin and what he's doing. You know, everybody's doing their job tonight, so I'm doing mine.
Appreciate it, and appreciate you speaking up. And it's not that anyone just wants to drag out time,
No, it has
drag out
nothing to do with that.
the clock. But the subject matter, if we were to change a few words, what would you compare this to in the continuum of time that we've experienced?
Gentleman's
Civil
time has
rights.
expired. 3 minutes has expired. Members, the question is on Representative Bonin's motion. It is a record vote. Clerk, ring the bell. Have all voted? There being 114 ayes and 29 nays, the motion is adopted. Members, that brings us to the end of the amendments. Anyone wishing to speak on, for, or against the bill? Anyone else wishing to speak on, for, or against the bill? Mr. Cook. Chair recognizes Representative Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move that all members who have added their names to be co-sponsors of Senate Bill 4 be added to the bill. A list of those members have been provided to the Chief Clerk.
Members, you've heard the motion. Is there objection? The chair is none. So ordered. Members, if anyone wants to speak on, for, or against the bill, please come down front.
The rules to hear those final three bills tomorrow,
Members,
later
you've heard
today.
the motion. Is there objection? The chair is none. So ordered. The following announcement, the clerk read the announcement.
The Committee on Ways and Means will meet on April 27, 2017 at 10:30 a.m. or upon a final adjournment or recess at E2.016 for a public hearing to consider HB 1682, HB 2236, and HB 2314.
Chair recognizes Representative Vogt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, not too long ago, my family, along with millions of others, fled to this nation as refugees with nothing else but the clothes on our back, leaving our entire lives behind us. I understand firsthand what it is to grow up as an immigrant in this country. I can tell you, the one thing we sought was freedom. My family and I, as I'm sure as the millions of other refugee families, are incredibly grateful for the opportunity we found here. We knew we had to work twice as hard to establish our new home, our new lives, and emerge from the odds set against us as immigrants in this nation. Instinctively, I practiced the value that my parents instilled in me and worked tirelessly to provide for my own family. I held multiple jobs at once and took 9 classes at the University of Houston, eventually earning a bachelor's degree. Like the children of many immigrant parents, it was a dream of my children to go to college and pursue careers. And it was a dream of mine to see them succeed and contribute to the community that offer us a second chance. Once a refugee, today members, a member of the state legislature, and most importantly, the proud father of 3 children with college degrees. Like millions of immigrants, we did not come here to be criminal or take advantage of the system. Rather, we came here to seek freedom and continue to be the building blocks that immigrants have been to this nation. What makes SB4 painful is the idea that America may no longer be a country where people feel welcome, that Texas would be on the front lines of promoting this type of rhetoric. When I came to this country, there were hardships, but I did not feel unwanted. Back then, we used to have the freedom to do and go wherever we wanted without fear of unjustified harassment from local enforcement. Now those freedoms will be taken away for many individuals if SB4 passes simply because of the way they speak and appear. There are many countries who follow that standard, and for the longest, I believe that our great state of Texas would never lower itself to that point of injustice. SB4 will create tensions between communities, between those who look a certain way and those who suspect them of being here illegally. There are quite simply no protections against racial profiling. What distinguishes those who are here illegally from those who are not? The church that took our family in gave us support we needed to act on our own and support ourselves. SB4 would not only go completely against those altruistic acts, but would incite a level of malevolence I have never seen before. This bill has more implication than just compliance with ICE detainers, and it would greatly affect my own district, one which has over 80 different spoken languages and a majority of Hispanics. I stand here today to firmly urge you to vote against SB4 because no one deserves to feel unsafe for simply trying to live their lives.
Chair recognizes Representative Wu.
Members, I wanted to come more during the debate and tell you a lot of things. I wanted to come and tell you that, we're not talking about just Hispanic immigrants that are undocumented, because I know a lot of people in my community who are Asian who are undocumented, who are African and are undocumented, who are Syrians or Iraqis or Eastern Europeans or Russians. But I didn't because I don't think it would matter. I don't think you would care. I wanted to come tell you that a lot of those people who are undocumented didn't come across the border without paperwork. That they were students here who might have overstayed their visa, or their attorneys screwed up their paperwork, or that ICE or INS made a mistake, just like they did with one of my family members. And they're undocumented at pretty much no fault of their own. But I don't think you would care. I don't think it would matter. I want to tell you how some of the people in my community who were undocumented, who became green card holders later, who became citizens later, were some of the most amazing people in our community who contributed to our wealth of our city, contributed to the culture of our state, and contributed to the beauty of our nation. I didn't tell you because I don't think it would matter, and I don't think you care. I wanted to tell you that immigrants in my community, whether they are legal, illegal, undocumented, whether they're refugees, asylum seekers, they don't know the difference. They don't care what the difference is. All they know is where they come from, the police are the enemy. And with this bill, you have made our police their enemies as well. I wanted to tell you that. But I didn't, because I don't think it would matter. I don't think you care. You know, I didn't come up here as much as I wanted to and say all these things because I'm tired. I'm tired not because it's 2, almost 3 o'clock in the morning, not because we've been on this for more than 12, 14 hours, whatever it is. Because I'm tired because I know there's many of you in here that I've talked to and that have made comments to me that I know you don't want to vote for this, but you're going to anyways. But that's not what makes me really tired. What makes me really tired are the people that as I walk around this floor, I overhear your comments, and your comments are gleeful. Your comments are joyous about what we're going to do to an entire population of people. And I know there's people out there on the internet who say the same things. And those same people always say, well, if you're illegal, you deserve it. You know what? I can't really refute that. I understand that many people have come here in violation of our immigration laws. But you know what? A lot of those people have been here for 30, 40 years. They have families, they have children, they set up entire businesses, they've built homes, they've contributed to our nation and our state and our cities. But it doesn't matter, does it? All we're asking here today, all that we ask is mercy. All that we want is mercy. All that we asked for in our amendments today, one by one, was mercy. Please, beg of you, mercy.
Chair recognizes Representative Guerin to close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I appreciate your patience today and your help, and I move passage.
Members, a question occurs on the passage third reading of Senate Bill 4. The record vote, the clerk ring the bell. Show Mr. Guerin voting aye. Have all voted? Have all members voted? There being 93 ayes and 54 nays, Senate Bill 4 passes to third reading.